Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. It has been a minute. Today is October the 11th, uh, but we are thick in it in the offseason, even though there are teams still playing in meaningful baseball. Once again, the St. Louis Cardinals are not it, and here we are with a regime change and all kinds of other clutter happening.
Yeah, I'm thankful to say I haven't thought about the Cardinals in a while. The postseason has been great so far, I think. Especially the National League. The American League's kind of full of a bunch of mediocre teams, I think. No offense, D Pagel, if you're
A
listening.
shot of
Um,
D.
but the National League, man, you Darvish versus Yamamoto tonight for game 5 in Chavez Ravine. Like that has to be the most watched postseason game in Japan ever, right?
Okay, can we talk about that too?
It's gonna be
Your
awesome.
your twin sister is in LA right now. She is staying right down the road from Dodger Stadium, essentially, like not too far. Her boyfriend and his friend are going to said game. She did not want to spend $120 to go to said game. Tickets are now $250, which I did try to tell her last week. Hey, buy ticket. If it happens and you don't want to go, you make money. So she is going to go out to eat in Chinatown and watch the game back at her apartment, I assume. What a missed opportunity. What a missed opportunity. Love her to death. Hope she has an incredible time in LA. But what are we doing?
I'm serious when I say I think I would have spent $1,000 to get into that game.
Well, do you have $1,000?
I have multiple thousands of dollars, three to be exact, and I
Whoa! All
would have
right, Mr.
spent
Peacock.
and I would have spent one of the 3,000 that I have to get into that game. That would be an awesome. That'd be an awesome experience. Like I'm
Yes,
serious. Like I think it's going to be the most watched international baseball game in Major League Baseball history.
I'm pretty excited for it. The only way it would have been better, obviously, is if Otani was pitching. That's the only way.
Even then, though, like now you get Yamamoto and Darvish in there, and Otani still playing. Like that's
Agreed.
great.
Agreed.
And like I really hope it's not one of those where one of the teams goes up 6-0 early, and then it's like a slog the rest of the game to see if a team can get back in it with a
Like the
grand
other
slam.
night. Like,
Yeah, I want it to be
yeah.
like, or like honestly, a couple of the games, like I want it to be like 7-6 going into the eighth or something like that. Like that's what I want.
Do you believe that Chaim Bloom and Mo, which we will get to in a minute, are watching the Tigers going, that's what we need to do right there. One starting pitcher, that's all they have. Like, I don't think any team is saying that's what we need to do, but what they have done is like it's an improbable run, no doubt about it. Like they're gonna make a movie about Kerry Carpenter probably. Like they're this stuff is wild.
Who's that? Okay, so yes, it's crazy. Terry Schools, by the way, far and away the best pitcher in baseball. Like I don't even think anyone's close to that guy.
It's not close. I
It's him and
agree.
Zach Wheeler. Those are 1 and 2, and everyone else can fall behind. But okay, so you want to hear something crazy? The other day, they had Cater Montero starting exactly a month from when he threw a Maddox in a Major League Baseball game, which is obviously 9 innings of less than 100 pitches. And everyone's like, okay, he's like their second starting pitcher. He's going to go. He threw a 6 pitch first inning. 1, 2, 3, as easy as it could be. Pulled him immediately
Yep.
in the second inning. It's crazy what they're doing. I love it.
Same.
I don't think any team should ever think it's sustainable. And also, like this validates that AJ Hinch is a great coach, like we all thought. Like he is really good. As great as a manager can be. We'll probably get into that later. But they're a lot of fun. Like I'm excited for that game tomorrow. Sucks it's gonna be at 1:30 p.m. because of rain coming later that night. Because that's just the Midwest and Ohio. There's always rain. Um, but it's gonna be exciting.
Do you believe that's actually why they moved the game there, or is it because Ohio State is playing Oregon at night and everybody in the state of Ohio would much rather watch the Buckeyes than the Indians?
Well, unless they want to time travel, they can't watch the Indians.
My apologies. The Guardians. My apologies.
I don't think. I mean, honestly, that might have been. They might have been like, okay, I'm more okay with that than I would have been. But
Right.
I,
Right.
I think they would. I mean, that stadium would have been packed regardless. That's game 5. But I think it's awesome to see Detroit be excited about baseball again. I was
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time. Like it was when Victor Martinez and Miggy and JD Martinez was a rookie. Like that team, Castellanos was a rookie. Like that's the last time they were excited about baseball, probably.
So last night, Red Wings home opener, they didn't sell out. When have you ever heard of a Red Wings home opener not selling out? Because everyone was probably over at Comerica Park. I think largest attendance at Comerica Park history last night.
It was like 48,000 or something, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
something crazy like
That's
that.
awesome. Like that's great because I like 3 months ago there was no one at the games because they were out of it. Everyone thought at
We don't
least.
have to spend a lot of time on this, obviously, because we do want to get to Cardinal baseball. Because to be fair, just so everyone knows on here, this man sitting across from me made me get up at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, even though college football morning after I'd been out Friday night, get up. We got to record a pod. We need to get this info out on Bloom and Mo. We record said pod. Man never puts it out. So, guys, we did record a pod. I got up. I sacrificed for all of you all. Thank you, by the way, who watch and listen. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow button. Thank you. But we did all this. And then you went about your day and started drinking high noons, and that thing never got put out.
It
So
was, to be fair, it
hopefully
was in
this
the
one gets
midst of
out.
like
Who knows? I don't even know.
it was in the midst of like my busiest week of my life. So I'm sorry, but
Whatever. Anyway, we don't have to spend a lot of time on the playoffs because obviously we are not involved, but they are fun. If you're not watching it, baseball is awesome right now. There are some great things going on. But boy, oh boy, does it really validate the fact that there is no formula to winning in October. Like, I mean, obviously you want to set yourself up well. We know that. But if you were to look at every team, the one team you could say going into it has the 1-2 punch at the top of the rotation was the Philadelphia Phillies with Wheeler and Nola. That's the best. That's the best 1-2 punch in the postseason. They're gone. Mets beat them. Tigers took out the Astros. I mean, it is get hot and just like get in and get hot. Like that's really what it is, and have a couple balls go your way.
that's what it's always been. Like I get that everyone wants to talk about this new formula and how all these one seeds are losing and whatever. I mean, the mantra of just get in and see what happens has been around since when? Like how long?
But I
I
mean,
mean, we watched it here in St. Louis twice. Like I was only 4 in 2006, but 2011, that's the same thing. Like it's baseball. It's gonna be weird. Like it's very rare that you have a 2022 Houston Astros where clearly the best team on paper just went through the
right.
league by storm and won the World Series. That does not happen very often.
Yeah, I agree. And I think last night Yankees were the first team since they've gone to the new format, the first team to get a bye and win a series. And that's wild. So Phillies are gone.
No, the Astros did it.
I thought I didn't I send you the thing that said,
No, it was the National League. Like no one's
oh,
done
my
it in the National League
apologies.
yet.
So
So
then
the Dodgers
disregard
have the
everything I
chance
just
to
said.
do it in the National League for the first time this year.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, Mike Schilt starting Dylan Cease doing Mike Schilt things again.
I don't understand that. Like it's
So
great
everybody
for
needs to
us as
relax.
it's great for us as baseball fans. One, because I love game fives, game sevens. Like I want every series to go that deep unless I have a rooting interest. And also I want to see Darvish versus Yamamoto, but it made no sense. Like if they were down in the series and it was 3 and they were down 2-1, then I get putting all your eggs in that basket, but it really didn't make any sense to me.
Charlie Kelly, legend, New Orleans legend, right? Ran from the mafia. What love that man. Um, Talked to him the other day at the bar that I go to. Obviously, Caleb knows Charlie. Charlie's an awesome dude. Shout out Charlie. Probably the biggest Mets fan I know. I don't think he even understand. Like he doesn't even know what to say right now. He thought this team was dead like 2 months ago, which I think a lot of people did. And now he's getting to see like what Lindor that bomb Lindor hit, what that team does. Like they're fun to watch. I said one night it's hard for me to say it, but I enjoy watching the New York Mets play baseball.
Yeah, they're fun. And I don't like this idea that they're like the Cinderella team. They're not. Let's be clear.
No,
They're like third in active payroll and first in overall payroll. They're not a Cinderella team. But like what Sean Manaea and Jose Quintana, Cardinal legend, and Luis Severino have done is awesome. Like those three, we talk about the offense. Obviously, Pete Alonso hitting homers again is great. Mark Vientos and Lindor have been really good.
love
But
Vientos.
but what they've done with their rotations, what matters. Like Jose Quintana hasn't given up an earned run in like 19 in postseason innings.
Yeah,
It's wild. Like what they're doing is wild. And Carlos Mendoza deserves a lot of credit for what he's done with that team.
All right, last thing before we get to the Cardinals, because that is why we do this, even though you probably won't even put the podcast out. So
I'm like, we
there
get
is
off of
that.
it.
Uh, what is your World Series prediction as it stands right now today? Now we do know there are two series that we don't know the outcomes for, so I am asking you to make a leap before we even know how the CSs are set up. But if I were to ask you that, what is your pick?
Padres, Yankees. I think the Padres are the best team in baseball, just to be 100% honest. I think they're the most complete team. Even without Joe Musgrove, if they had him, I don't think it'd be close. And the Yankees, like, no, once again, no offense to all the AL Central teams. This is the easiest path they're ever going to have to getting to a World Series. Just to be 100% honest. That Royals team was not a postseason team. Did you watch that series? Like, my God.
I
Speaking
watched
of
part
which,
of it.
Garrett Cole got absolutely bailed by that stadium in the wind. Like he should have lost that game for them. He gave up like 3 balls to the wall with like 10 mile per hour wind blowing in a big ass stadium. Um, but that team's just not very good. And then like, the AL Central teams are fine that are left, but they're not. They don't have a Juan Soto or an Aaron Judge. Like I get Jose Ramirez is great, but like I just don't see how either of those teams can outslug the Yankees if they score 6 runs.
All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb and kind of go opposite of you. Then I'm going Guardians, Dodgers. That's my pick.
I just don't know if the Guardians have the starting pitching or the
I don't
offense.
know if I don't know if they do either, but I also don't believe that the Yankees do, and I think that bullpen of the Guardians is freaking ridiculously good. I know
It's the
Clase
best
gave up the
bullpen
home
I think
run,
I've ever seen.
but it's
It
unbelievable, and I just have a
everyone's coming in
feeling.
with a 1.7 ERA on the season. It's insane.
Look, I mean, we saw it in Major League, right? When the then Indians played the Yankees, and we know what happened, right? So we're just going to revisit that. And I don't see it. It could easily happen, and I'll look like an idiot when you post this in 5 weeks. However, I think the Dodgers don't lose at home tonight. That's what I'm going to say.
I mean, I don't know. Like Fernando Tatis first inning 2-run bomb. Like speaking of which, we're gonna get to Cardinal baseball, I promise. But God, I just don't even. I'm almost delaying it at this point. Fernando Tatis Jr. has reintroduced himself to baseball as a superstar,
Yep,
and
he
I
has.
freaking love it. Like he is so
Yep.
good. I love his fire. I hate that Dave Roberts acted like Manny Machado tried to hit him. I loved Mike Schildt's response to that. That when Manny threw the ball over and Dave Roberts was like, it was unsettling. They asked Mike Schilt about it. He said, Manny has a good arm. He would have hit him if he tried to. I was like that.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, that's what I want. There's Mike
Well,
Schilt I want to see.
and then it kills me the people out there who are mad at Jack Flaherty for screaming at Machado after he struck him out. Like,
I hate
hold
that
on.
so much.
So do I. It's the most annoying thing out there. Like, okay, are you kidding? Did you not watch Chris Carpenter and John Lackey pitch for the Cardinals? Also, it's emotion. This is the playoffs. This is what you fucking want right now from all 26 guys. I
That's the
want
Jack
that.
I want. That's the
Me
Jack I
too.
loved.
Bingo. Anyone who
I
says
don't care how
that,
many runs you gave
I
up in the
agree.
first inning.
We agree.
Like you just punched out Manny in a big spot. Let him know.
Yep.
Like those teams
Agreed.
don't like each other. You want rivalries? There's a rivalry.
Also, please stop telling me he hit Fernando Tatis on purpose. I do not believe that it's the case.
He would
John
never
Smoltz
do that.
immediately says, "No way, Jack Flaherty's hitting him on purpose." There,
No.
it's a 3-0 game. They got Profar and Machado coming up. Jack's trying to get through 6. He's not hitting Tatis on purpose there.
And here's the thing, like I guess I guarantee Jack's available for an inning tonight. If
Yep.
he comes in and faces Machado, you don't think that's a more exciting at bat
Oh,
now?
electric,
Like
electric. Yeah,
like
I
that's
we
what we
agree.
should want.
I knew we would agree,
I also
but there's
just love
people
Jack
out
Flaherty.
there
So
who are
it was also
smarter
like
than
Ben
everyone else.
Frederickson was saying it. It's like, what are you
Well,
talking? Like,
who
just
cares?
shut up. I like Ben
Um,
Frederickson, but that's ridiculous. Like,
same, same.
stop.
Yep. Okay, let's get to the Cardinals because unless you're going to insert the podcast that you did not release, let's go ahead and talk about this. A lot of big doings, and I think I want to. There, like we don't have to rehash it. Everybody knows what happened, but I do really want to get your take on. To I understand the idea of transitioning Chaim Bloom, but couldn't they not have like the idea that John Mozeliak is just going to be there is weird to me. I don't
Yeah.
love it. He should be out of this organization as far as I'm concerned.
Or
Chaim
out of
Bloom
his
does
role
not
at
need
least.
Chaim Bloom does not need John Mozeliak to show him how to do his job. He was there all year this year. So that I hate the lame duck thing there because if we're gonna make trades, and we'll get to that in a little bit, if we're gonna start trading players, John Mozeliak's thumbprint is going to be on that in some capacity. I don't like that at all. All right, so let me just start
Yeah.
there. But give me your thoughts on obviously the biggest news. People already know it. This isn't new. But and you had kind of predicted that Chaim Bloom would be the one that would come in. I think a lot of people said that. But
Yeah, it was the most
give me
obvious
your
choice.
right. Give me your thoughts.
I want to get to what you just said because I think about Mo and Time. When it was initially stated, I didn't like it because I think Mo needs to be gone. However, I do think it's setting Heimblum up for success for a few reasons. One, if he's realized, and Bernie Miklasz said this, so I'll give him all the credit in the world because obviously he has all the sources that I don't have. That Heimblum presented this plan and what was wrong with the minor league system to the DeWitts and to John Mozeliak and everyone, and he didn't hold any punches. He was like, "This is awful. This is everything you're doing wrong, and this is how we need to fix it." And if Heimblum feels like he needs a year of working on actually fixing that, not just auditing it and observing it, to actually fix it and implement everything he needs to do. And it's going to take him a full year of doing that. Then I would prefer him to focus on that than focus on an 80-win team that we're not planning on winning anyway. So I understand that part of it. My second thing is, what is Chaim Bloom known for in Boston?
Trading Mookie Betts.
What is he going to have to do if Sonny Gray, Arenado, and Wilson Contreras are here?
Yeah,
So I like the
right.
idea of John Mozeliak saying, I'm going to take this one. This is my fault that we're doing this. I'm going to do this. I think Chaim Bloom will be very involved in all of that. I think he will be the one almost making the trades. Just based on what Mo said, anything impacting Bond this year, Chaim Bloom's going to be involved in and will be in lockstep. But I like the idea of Mo being the face of we're selling these guys off and not having Chaim Bloom come in here and already be put behind the eight ball because he's trading Contreras, Arenado, Sonny Gray, and all these players that we love.
Okay. All right. I understand that logic. I still don't love it, but I do understand what you're saying there. And I get that. But do you really truly believe that Mo would ever say this is my fault?
I mean, he said it, to be fair. He has said that it is his
Well,
fault. But I think behind
do you
closed
think he
doors, yeah.
believes it?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Okay.
I think he's self-aware. He doesn't always present that. I think he likes to present like he knows what he's doing and everything. But I just like the idea. I think I wouldn't be surprised if Chaim Bloom was like, I am not coming into another situation where I'm trading off franchise players immediately. Like that really put him behind the eight ball in Boston. Not only because that you're trading away a Hall of Famer, like Mookie Betts is one of the best players I've ever seen, but you're also doing it in a big market where we know that they could pay those guys. Like we know they're not crying poor. And you're also doing it to where if you don't get the perfect trade package and you get a Jeter Downs that never turns into anything, that's a really bad start to your career in St. Louis.
And Verdugo, who's no longer even on the roster, he's on your rivals roster.
Yeah, like you got the accumulation of all those players they got aren't even close to what Mookie Betts does in 1 year.
It does feel like when you trade a superstar, it's impossible to ever get it's almost impossible.
Yeah, like the Nationals did the Nationals and the Padres and the both Juan Soto trades did about as well as you can do.
Yeah, agreed. We agree on that. All right. So other big news, something you clamored for essentially starting in May is that Turner Ward is gone. So give me your thoughts. Who do you think replaces him? I have not, if they made a statement, that's on me because I did not see that. But I've tried to pay attention to everything, but I've not seen a replacement yet.
No, and they won't announce that until the season's over because I would assume they're going to wait to see if a guy's fired. Yeah, he had to go 8 months ago. I mean, 6 months ago, whatever it is. So I'm glad he's gone now. No offense, Turner. I hope he gets an assistant job somewhere and continues to be in baseball. I'm sure he's a good guy, but I don't care who I don't not that I don't care. I don't know who they should replace him with. I don't think it's any fan really knows. I would love to get Jeff Albert back. I love that he posted that picture. He hasn't been on Twitter in like 2 years, and he posted a picture of the Mets celebrating. And I'm like, yeah, okay, good for you, Jeff Albert. He won.
Right.
There's rumors that Kevin Long could be fired in Philadelphia, so that's obviously going to be an intriguing option.
Well,
The Braves hitting coach Seitzer, I think he got fired. He's
Kevin
going to be an
Seitzer,
option
yeah.
too. Yeah. So those are two guys that like names that I know. But in terms of that, like get a young guy that connects with hitters well, and knows what he's talking about. And
Can we
is
rewind for just a second? Because that one caught me off. That came out of left field a little bit there. Kevin Long is potentially going to be fired in Philadelphia for what?
Well, the whole thing last year that Dombrowski was mad about was their approach because if you watch the Phillies, they just swing at everything. They don't take pitches. And he was like, we're going to focus on making that better this year. If you watch the Mets series, it did not get better. So I
Well,
mean,
that's not Kevin Long. Like he
it's
is aggressive.
I know it's a big market. They fire people. Like that's just what it is.
Yeah. If
I'm not
Kevin
saying he
Long comes
deserves
to
it.
say, first of all, Nolan Gorman. If I'm on what he has done with left-handed hitters in his career,
Brandon Marsh.
Bryce. I mean, obviously Harper was great. Don't get me, but Harper, Schwarber, like the list goes on and on. Like where he's been. If you can get, I mean, that would be incredible. I think wasn't he with the Yankees? Was that back with who were the lefties?
He was with the Dodgers for a while.
Yeah, I think he was with the Yankees for a while, maybe too. Yes, that's a big name. Seitzer. I think Ryan Ludwig's name's gonna be in there only because of the success he's had with young guys. I don't know. Like that's I go back to what you said to start. I don't know.
I hate it. I don't want anyone that's maybe he is. Let him go do it somewhere else. I don't want any Cardinals.
So you want a whole new philosophy? I don't disagree. I'm just saying.
I want someone that's not in the organization. Like I'm tired of this. And like Ryan Ludwig might be good. Like everyone wants Ryan Ludwig because he told Victor Scott to have a leg kick. Two things. One, Kyle Reese was saying that for 2 years. So the fact that it took Ryan Ludwig to say that, once again, just furthers my disdain for keeping Turner Ward as long as they did. How did not one person tell him this?
Do you see any other moves on the coaching staff?
No, unless Daniel Scalzo gets hired as a manager job. I heard that he's in the running for replacing Pedro Grifol in Chicago. So unless that happens, then you're obviously going to have to. Maybe that's when Matt Holliday comes, right? Maybe that is now that Ethan Holiday is about to get drafted in June, maybe. But I don't really think so.
He's senior.
Yeah, he's going to be.
I thought he still had 2 years left. Okay,
he might go number one as well. Like
I would assume that he probably will.
He'll go top 5 for sure. Yeah, he's a stud.
Okay, so let's get into what you kind of led off with here with the trading. First, I would like to clarify also. I think people need to hear this. Okay. If the Cardinals trade Wilson Contreras, please do not get on social media and tell us it's because he badmouthed the front office. Please can we just bury that now? Like
Well,
I
they don't
don't
like that, to be fair.
I
But yeah,
understand that, but they're
they
not
traded
going to
Tommy Pham because of it.
a big difference between Tommy Pham and Wilson Contreras and the money that they probably paid them and at the time in their career. All right.
Yeah.
Nolan Arenado also said we need major changes. They're not just going to trade people like who speak out against them. You can't run a successful business that way ever. So I just want to put that to bed. But do you actually believe that they're going to trade Gray? I mean, I'm gonna put four of them in there: Gray, Nato, Contreras, Helsley.
Um, if they're not planning on winning this year, they said they're gonna go. Most said they're gonna go to everyone and talk to them individually. If I'm any of those four players, I'm saying, yeah, trade me. Why would I want to be here? So I would no ill will if it comes out that Contreras asked for a trade. I think he should. Like I would too. I think they should probably look at it, and I think there's two ways to look at this. My thing is they should be able to afford player development and doing what they have to do there, and also paying for a major league roster that's competitive. Every team should be able to do that. It honestly concerns me. What are they going to do when they're competitive again? They're just not going to put money in the major league team now. Like, what lesson did they learn? It could be the wrong lesson. Um, so I can go that route. Like, they should pay these guys. They should try and go out and get someone else and maybe build a better team and try and be competitive in 2024 or 2025 while doing the player development stuff that they lacked on for years. If they aren't going to do that, then yeah, like move on. I mean, Arenado and Gray, like Gray's going to be the biggest loss. Arenado, no, there's really no loss there at all. Is there going to be a big drop off between him and Gorman or Sajasi? Probably not. Um, and then Wilson Contreras just sucks because I love him personally, but from like a 30,000 point foot view, you have replacements for him. Like you have guys there that you really like that aren't making that money. So if you can get that off, it makes sense because he's an aging catcher that probably needs to go be a DH somewhere 90% of the time. So I it sucks, but I think they're gonna try to.
Do you think that them saying that hurts their leverage in a trade?
No. I think that's over. I think that's always overrated because at the end of the day, they don't have to trade him.
Right.
Like if you don't want him, then if you don't want to pay what they are asking, they don't have to trade him.
I do think it would be awkward if all four said we wanted to be traded or how fill in the blank, and then you didn't trade them. Now you've got a guy who's actively said I want out, and you don't oblige that. Like I think that gets awkward as well. Potentially. I don't know. Never been in a big league dugout, so I don't know that answer. But
Yeah, I
that to
mean,
me sounds like that could be.
at the end of the day, those guys, all four of those guys are professionals. So I don't think it will be like Ryan Helsley's the one. Like if you're looking to trade him, you're going to get a lot. Um, you should like ideally you'd get more than like Tanner Scott got because he has a full year and whatever. If I'm the Cardinals, I call the Orioles and I said, "Do you want Scott? I mean, do you want Helsley and Gray? Because if you do, I'll take Kobe Mayo. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Two
hey,
for one,
I
2 for 1 swap. I'll take him. Like
yeah,
seriously,
or
that's what I would
Kerstead.
do. No, we don't need any more left-handed outfielders. Just don't hit home runs.
He probably plays first base, right? Like he plays first base a little bit.
Okay, well, we don't need it. Okay, we have Alec Burleson. I don't want any. How about this? I'm over left-handed hitters that don't hit home runs. No more.
Okay. All right. All right.
Like
Yeah,
I want
I
left-handed
agree with
power.
that.
I
That's gonna
don't
be
want
interesting.
8 Brendan Donovans in my lineup. I love Brendan Donovan, but we have him and Newport already. So
All right. What else did you want to get to as far as the off season? Anything you're looking at that you would like to see them do? Or like let's say that. Would you like to see them trade those guys?
no, I don't like it at all. Well, Arenado, yes. Everyone else, no, I don't like it. But because I think they should be trying to compete every year. Like I think every team should. They have the money to do it. Don't let them say, well, we have to put all our resources and time and effort into player development when the guy who's doing player development isn't the probo. So you have literally the people to do different jobs. So I understand the idea of not wanting to go get guys that are once again, taking at bats away from Walker and Nootbaar and all these guys. I get that. I think they have a team right now that if you trade Arenado and you trade Contreras, I think they can win 82 games. Like I don't think they're going to be much different at all. If you trade Sonny Gray, that goes down a lot because then you don't have anyone at the top of your rotation. But it just sucks. Like it makes sense for what they're doing, but I don't think I'll ever advocate for them crying poor and acting like they can't do two things at once.
Yeah, that is the one that does, I feel like, rub most people the wrong way when you say we have to pick one or the other. That's not how we run
They should have been doing
things.
both the whole time.
Correct. It is wild that they let it get this bad, man. Like it is really that is the wildest part of it all. Like how did you not notice it? And I don't mean you, Caleb. No, I mean Mo and the rest
Mo
of the
noticed it.
organization. How did we
Mo
not
told
notice
him.
it?
Mo said he told him years ago, and he was given a budget, and he felt pressure to win at the major league level.
We got to get the DeWitts to sell the team, I feel like.
I
Also, by
don't
the way,
think
the,
so.
the twins are for sale, so there is that.
I know that's the Pollad
Yeah,
family. They've
yep,
had it
yep,
forever.
yep.
Which is probably good because they don't spend money either. No, I don't think the DeWitts are as evil and bad as everyone thinks, but it is annoying when you think about it. I don't know how much money they're gonna have to spend in this thing, a couple $1 million, maybe it's five, but that's probably the high end of what they're gonna spend on it, I would guess. That's like imagine if you just didn't sign Andrew Miller and put all that money into your development system.
Right.
Like that
Brett
we're getting that
Cecil.
point. Or Lance Lynn. Like Kyle Gibson, you could have not signed one of these guys and then put that $11 million in that. And
Also,
then
can't you
where
do
are we?
both? Like that
Yes,
this
yeah,
team,
you can. But I'm saying like the problem I'm having is the amount of dead money they have every year on their books that's useless. That even if you like, okay, we don't want to spend 180, we want to spend 165. That's one Miles Michaelis away from not spending
yes.
that and putting money into your minor league system.
Well, give me the percentage of a chance that he is not on this roster next year because I don't know that I can watch that man pitch from the Cardinal uniform again.
I, here's where I'm at. If they're not trying to win, letting him eat up 200 innings isn't the worst thing in the world.
Okay.
Like if you're not trying to win, because those innings have to be filled by somebody. And even if you're going with a youth movement, and let's say Sonny Gray's gone, let's say they might trade Eric Fetty, um, and it's four young guys in your rotation. Those guys aren't throwing 180 innings. So if you just have him go out there and say, we might lose every fifth day, we don't really care. We're not trying to win, but we need those innings covered. And you let him go 7 innings and give up 6 runs, then fine. Like whatever. I'm okay with that if you're not trying to win. Like I
That's the
really am.
most Miles Michaelis stat
I would
ever
say,
right
hey,
there.
Miles, you're throwing 150 pitches every game.
Right,
We need
right.
you to
And
eat
if your arm
innings.
falls off, sorry about it. You're welcome for the two
Yeah, sorry,
extensions.
we already paid you $20 million
Right,
this year.
agreed.
But no, like
Yeah.
I that's where I've arrived because I think like I don't want to watch him anymore. But if you're actually not trying to win, then go for it. Let him go out there and give you innings because you need those innings filled anyway. But in the event that they're one of these surprise teams, because I think they have the talent where if Jordan Walker hits and Nolan Gorman's great and Lars Nootbaar is healthy, and then you're looking up and you're like, oh, we're only going to be like a game out of the wild card spot. If that ever happens in like the middle of the summer, then you get him out of there.
Well,
But to start the year, I'm okay with it.
I do think the argument can be made there that nobody in the Central is probably going to get dramatically better in the offseason unless the Cubs do something maybe a little bit out of character.
Which
Obviously,
they should.
the Reds adding Terry Francona, great move for Cincinnati, by the way. I think Francona will
I can't
do.
believe he's doing that.
I
How
was
is that?
surprised as well. I was
I love
surprised as well.
Terry. He's one of my favorite managers of all time. Just watching him, he's everyone seems to love the guy. I hope he's good health wise and not just
Same,
going back into it for other reasons. And
same.
rumors are he lost a bunch of weight and he feels good, which is great. I like when he's in baseball. I just was surprised.
Me too.
Also, one other thing, put him in the Hall of Fame. Like, can we not do this thing where we wait for managers to be in the Hall of Fame until they're done? Because like,
Yeah,
what happened? Like, knock on wood, but what happens if some of these great managers, like Dusty Baker, managed till he was almost 80, right? Like, I
and he
don't
was
want him to
old.
be like too old to like appreciate being in the Hall of Fame. Like, put those guys in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. They're going to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame?
They shouldn't.
Yeah. I think, I mean, yeah, I mean, they haven't put Shoeless Joe in, so I don't think they're going to put Pete Rose
And
in.
Shoeless Joe didn't do other things that Pete Rose did do. That's
Correct.
also.
Well, I don't think they care about that.
Who's Kurt Schilling's not in the Hall of Fame?
Well, that isn't, we can talk about that one at a later date, but
I'm
yeah,
just saying Kurt Schilling's crimes against humanity are not the same.
yeah, yep, that is true. That is true. Interesting.
Pete Rose, great
I
player.
would like to see Pete Rose have a spot in the Hall of Fame because I believe he belongs there. It doesn't have to, if you don't want to put him next to Hank Aaron and Willie Mays and the greats of the game, I understand that. But you know where I feel like all of the greats of the game should be in the Hall of Fame. That's just the way I look at it. But
I agree, but I also think you have to judge the Hall of Fame based on what they've done in the past and held them to that standard.
yeah, I don't think they'll do it anytime soon. I'm not saying there's not a guy out there who becomes commissioner and changes it. I don't think it'll be Rob Manfred.
Yeah, and I
Manfred,
also think this idea that like people are
Manfred.
like, he has 4,000 hits. Like no one's saying Pete Rose wasn't a Hall of Fame baseball player.
Right.
That's not the reason he's being kept out.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to talk about with the St. Louis Cardinals?
Are you excited about the Chaim Bloom era of the Cardinals and what
No.
he could bring? I
I
am.
okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. But right now, October the 11th, no. Only because Saints now terrible, even though, but it's still the NFL. There's college football going on. Hockey just started. The Pels, we're
The
getting
Blues
we're
look
getting
great,
MVP
by the
Zion
way.
this year. So, like, yes, I'm excited. I don't know, man. I just don't trust the ownership to support everything that he's going to want to do.
Here's my thing. Chaim Bloom with the payroll that John Mozeliak was given, what could he do with that with $180 million of payroll if he can
Yeah,
develop
that's
players?
right. I
Like,
agree.
I don't think the Cardinals are going to go down to $100 million team. Like, I know people are worried about that, and I think it's a fair concern to ask, are they going to re-up the payroll after this reset, retool, rebuild, whatever is over? That's a fair question to have. But the thing that the way it's said in the past is it makes him annoyed that the Rays have such this great model, but they just let people walk and don't spend money to like complement the players they have. I don't think Bill DeWitt's gonna just let the organization go down to $100 million payroll because
Yeah,
fans aren't gonna
I
buy
don't
it.
foresee that either. Can I tell you what I like? I think as a Cardinal fan, what I'm worried about is that, and I love them, but is that Donovan and Newbar are going to now continue to regress a little bit, as we've seen already over the last few couple years.
Newbar was great
Gore,
the last month, by the way.
Gorman doesn't become what I thought he would become, and Jordan Walker is just a guy. I think that's what scares me the most. I hope I'm wrong, by the way, on every one of those accounts. I am
Mm-hmm.
excited for Quinn Matthews. I am excited for Weatherholt eventually. I'm excited. Hopefully, Chase Davis continues to do what he's done. I'm excited for him. I'm excited that, man, if we could get some maybe weight on Tink Hint and get some innings under his belt, that's exciting. But I've been excited for all these guys before in the last 15 years, and every one of them has just sort of been a guy, and that makes me a little bit nervous in that we're still dealing with the Mozeliak era. That's what I will say.
The hope would be that the change that they're making is to get the most out of those players when they weren't doing it in the past. And that's what this
Yes.
year is going to be, right? You're letting Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker should get 600 plate appearances, barring injury. I
So
don't
should
care if
Nolan
he's
Gorman.
batting. Right, they all should. And I'm not worried about that because even say that all happen, Jordan Walker would be the one that like he needs to be good. Um,
Yeah,
he doesn't
he
need to
needs
be
to be
great.
great, Caleb. He
No, he
needs to be
doesn't. That's
great.
unfair. He needs to be good because if he's good and he's like, oh, he's a five hitter, then guess what? You can go get superstars. That's allowed. Bryce Harper was available. We could have gotten him. You can go
Well,
get guys to
don't even
supplement
get
the
me.
roster. Um, like look at the Mets. Like who is their great player? Their one great player they didn't develop. It was Lindor.
Well,
So I mean, they didn't. They paid him
no,
300
you're
and
right.
whatever
I
million
mean,
dollars.
Alonso hits 40 home runs a
He's
year.
he's not a great player.
I
He's a good
didn't say
player.
that. I said he hits, like,
That's
if you
what I'm
got a guy in your
saying.
lineup who hits 40 home runs a year, that helps your lineup.
It does, but you can also go get those guys. So I don't think he needs to be great. You can. Kyle Schwarber was out there for everybody.
They're few and far between, and it's the same teams to get them. That's what I'll
I'm
say.
not saying there's a lot of them. Brent Rooker's going to be out there for everybody. Anyone can go trade for him.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. They're
That's
not
what I'm
going to
saying. Like
do
those
it.
guys, they're available every offseason. There's one guy every offseason you can go get and he can make a difference in your lineup. I think Jordan Walker's the one, back to my point, is the one that has to be good. Because if Donovan and Nootbaar and Gorman never become above average baseball players, which by the way, Nootbaar and Donovan are still above average baseball players right now, by every single stat you'll look at. Gorman's the one that wasn't this year. If those guys aren't like even complementary pieces and they turn into that, then they only have a couple years left anyway. You move on and you hope that Chase Davis and JJ Weatherholt become that. Like that's your options.
Yeah. Do you believe that Ali is the guy to lead a team that will be in not, I don't want to call it rebuilding, but yeah, maybe rebuilding. Like,
They're rebuilding. If they
do you
trade
think that's the
Arenado
guy?
and Contreras, it's a rebuild. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm willing to find out.
Okay. All right. I think that's a fair
I
answer.
think I kind of hope everybody gives him a chance. Like I came on here and said he should be fired if they were trying to win next year. I still believe if they were trying to win this year, coming up, that he probably wasn't the guy I would pick to move forward. Mainly because I think fans are just over it. And if you're trying to win and be 3 million plus through the gates, he's not going to be the guy that gets you that just because people are tired of him. But I think he deserves a chance to see what he can do with no expectations.
Do you think he is prepared to play the guys that need to play? Because we saw this year where there were guys getting at bats over other guys who should not have been That should have never happened. And I know you were trying to win, but even the argument could have been made. You still didn't have the best person in there to
Yeah,
try to win.
I would hope so.
I think that's a concern, right?
I think the only one I'd be concerned was Victor Scott because I still don't know why he wasn't playing down the stretch.
Yeah.
If I'm John Mozeliak and I want Victor Scott playing, Michael Ciani is not on my team next year.
They will not get rid of Michael Ciani.
I'm just saying, if you're like, okay, then Michael Ciani's gone. Like
I agree. I
he's
feel the
temptation.
same. I feel the same way that if they deal Contreras, they should also deal Pages because then let Herrera play 5 out of 6 games. But I don't think they will do that either.
Herrera might legitimately be like a 280 hitter in Major League Baseball. That's how good he is.
Yeah, but they don't. They love all of a sudden they always fall in love with these guys who have no ceiling. Like literally no. The ceiling and floor are like this for these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Pedro's a good player. He's just a backup catcher. Right. He's a really good backup catcher.
Yes, but they don't view him that way. They view him as a starter. And it's the same with Ciani.
I don't get it.
And you can't have those guys in the lineup every night. You just can't.
If I were the Cardinals, I would send Ivan Herrera to Yadier Molina's house and say, Yadi, we paid you this year. You did nothing. This is what you're going to do.
I don't know that Yadi's answering that door.
He might not. Who is this? He probably has armed guards outside.
I think Yadi is either at the basketball court, like having a beer or a glass of wine or something like that, or he's on the beach, or he's coaching his own son and has zero desire to care at all about what the St. Louis Cardinals want him to do at this point. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think, yeah, probably. I don't blame him, to be honest. I just Ivan Herrera needs to be the catcher of the future, in my opinion. He could be a Wilson Contreras-esque bat at catcher.
Yeah.
Maybe not the power, definitely not the power, probably. But I think he could be like one of the better offensive catchers in baseball. They need to give him the chance to do that. Pedro Paz could be a fine offensive catcher. He could be an Andrew Kisner, fine. But he's not going to be that.
Yeah, we agree totally on that. But yeah, that's back to the Yachty thing. That was sort of what I said all like preseason when they signed him. That it did like, and everybody was telling me, oh, they're bringing him in. Well, I know that they're bringing him in to take over for Ollie. I was like, that is definitely like you're not paying attention to what Yachty's doing at all. I don't think. And then Yachty just said, I'm not going to show up to work.
He's like, let's take this burden off of Ollie. Well, I don't really respect it. They were paying you. You probably should show up to your job, but just
we don't know what happened. We have no clue what happened behind the door. Last question from me to you, and then we'll get out of here. I saw Ben Hockman tweet, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, don't remember, that he would love to see them turn Helsley into a starter. I don't agree with that because I'd love to see them trade him. But I know that in the past, like that, it just feels like 3 years too late for that for the Cardinals, for me. Get the value. Like if you turn him into a starter and he's Jordan Hicks, you just lost all value that you could get for the guy.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think there's a misunderstanding of the value of relievers and starters because for so long it was how valuable starters are. And they're very valuable. They're more valuable on your team for sure. But I mean, like on the trade market, how much more valuable an elite closer is than a 5-starter, right? So there's 2 scenarios here. One, if you did that, Ryan Helsley would have to be a Cy Young candidate for you to get what you would get for him right now.
Correct.
As a reliever, in my opinion. 2, the idea of, oh, well, Helsley will get paid more. No, he won't. What did Jack Flaherty just sign for?
Yeah.
So what team in the offseason is going to trust that Ryan Helsley is an ace for sure? Even if he has an ace like year this year. Because what did Blake Snell just sign for?
Did he get a long-term deal? Josh Hader signed for.
Exactly. Blake Snell, 2-time Cy Young Award winner. What can Ryan Helsley do that will make a team say, I'll give you 8 years? He's not going to be able to do it. So yeah, it's 2 years too late. I don't think there's any upside to that move at all. The only way I would do it is if you extend him. And once again, Ryan Helsley is a very smart man. He's gone to arbitration. He got the money he deserves. He is not going to sign an extension that the Cardinals would give him because the Cardinals aren't going to give him what he's going to get in free agency. So also, I don't think there's any way that works.
He's probably top 3 closer in baseball, arguably top 5 for sure.
I think he's probably, I mean, the only one you can for sure say is ahead of him is Class A.
Okay. So that tells me that you're going to have 20 teams interested in that guy.
Yeah, I mean, even if he's not going to be a closer there. The thing that I am interested in,
10 teams.
I mean, any team that thinks they're in playoff contention should at least take a look at it, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think what you're seeing Tanner Scott do, that man is going to get paid in the offseason, which I am so fired up because I love that dude. I am so fired up for him because he will be a closer, and he's going to get paid closer money next year by somebody.
I was thinking about this. Do you think that if you're Ryan Helsley, You would be a little bit annoyed if you got traded to, let's say they got traded to the Orioles, right? And Felix Bautista is going to be back. He'll be their closer to start the year for sure. Would you be annoyed that you're not getting saves because it might impact your free agency a little bit?
Absolutely, I would be annoyed by that. Yes, because I mean, you're not going to pay. I mean, you can. We've seen it before where guys, that eighth inning guy, they know they want to make him the ninth. But
They don't get paid like
if
that.
he goes, let's say he goes to who's Atlanta's closer, for example.
Raisel Iglesias, he would take over for him.
Okay, so is Iglesias gone after this year? I mean,
I think he's there still, but he's way better
okay.
than
Well,
Iglesias.
either way, where I'm going, whatever. If he goes to a contending team, he's going to get 40 saves,
The
right?
Yankees.
Okay, there you go. Boom. That's like perfect right there. Red
He'll be there with
Sox.
Luke Weaver, baby.
Yankees, Red Sox, whatever. Right? Right. Luke,
Shout out Luke
shout out to
Weaver, by
Luke,
the
by the
way.
way.
Awesome. He's
Yes.
been awesome. I love
So
it.
pumped for him. He's throwing 97.
Put a guy in a bullpen with a good pitching coach.
Yep. Anyway, I agree. Yankees, Red Sox, fill in the blanks, right? There are plenty of teams that are going to be in
I mean, he got
Mariners.
48. What did he get? 48 saves with the Cardinals? Something like that?
Yeah,
49?
that's what I'm saying. He's going to, if he does that and goes there and then also gets to show it in the postseason, that man is going to get Josh Hader like money.
Because he doesn't have a good track record in the postseason, as we all know. Yeah, I think he's going to get paid a lot of money, and I think he knows that. The only concern with him, the only way you could give him to sign an extension is if you say, well, you're not getting paid a lot of money if you get hurt. That's the only way.
Let me ask you this about Helsley. If you're put on again, always ask you to put on new hats, even though you wear the same fucking hat every
I left my
podcast.
other one in my dorm that I never go to, so I
So
can't switch them out.
this man has two houses, by the way, and he's peacocking about his money. So if you want to know,
Yeah, my
there it is.
$3,000 that I'm not, with no income that I have to last me another
Well,
six
whose
months.
fault is the no income part, by the way? But that's okay. Anyway, if you're the
No help from my
Cardinals
parents.
with the change, shut up, whatever. Well, we can get into that if you want to get into that, but we won't. Um, Now you just threw me for a loop for the man who does not post a podcast. Um, okay, if you're the Cardinals with the Chaim Bloom takeover, I know where I was going with this, and you're trading Helsley. If you were the organization, if you're Chaim Bloom, if you're in charge of making this trade, would you prefer to get guys that were going to start maybe at the lower levels, like let's say in low A guys, like high prospects, but at low levels, so that then you can bring them up in your development? Or do you think they're going to be looking for guys who are getting close to major league ready? Or do you believe they're going to look for maybe a mix there? What would you, Caleb Noble, GM, Hobo, whatever you want to call yourself, with the Cardinals do if you're trading Ryan Helsley?
I always prefer guys at the higher levels of the minor leagues because you know how they've developed so far, right? So you can go get, a guy that was drafted in the top 10 last year, right? And you're like, I really like this guy, Nick Kurtz. Like, it's not gonna be him, but let's just throw him out there. And he
Yeah,
could
the A's
never
probably not
even
dealing
reach.
him.
I know, I'm just saying, but he'll never reach AAA, maybe. Like, you just don't know. So I'd rather get a guy like Kobe Mayo's not getting traded, but a guy like him that you're like, this guy is a major league player. We know he is. Like, he is going to be that. He's a great prospect at AAA. Like, that's what I'd rather get. Always.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
And you also
he's
you
got to be
also
smart about it.
you're also like you got a couple of years of development for free that you didn't have to do.
I think that if it's played right, the Cardinals can be a contender by 26. Like I really truly do. If you play it right and you deal, like I am in favor at
Like
this
like
point of,
World Series contender or wild card contender.
well, I mean whatever, playoff. Let's just, again, I hate the World Series contender because every year it's like, oh, the Phil,
Yeah,
like
true.
yeah, they lose.
True.
Like Braves, they lose. Like so that's, I don't even care about that.
Yeah, but I think we can all
Get into
say
playoffs.
but I think we can all say the last couple of times the Cardinals win the playoffs, we didn't really think they could win the World
I
Series.
don't agree. Okay, I don't know that I agree with you because when we were at game one in 2022, like that team was coming in with some momentum. Like 93 wins, you had Albert. It just felt like the stars were aligning, right? And
Yeah,
then
but then you saw
obviously you
Miles
get the
Michaelis on the mound.
but Quintana throws a gem. You get the home
Yeah,
run
true.
by old buddy, and then
Yepes.
we're dancing and celebrating and then all of a sudden it just all goes to hell. So I think if they get past the Phillies there, that team might end up in the World Series. I really truly do believe in 2022 that team, if they get past the Phillies, might have ended up in the World Series. So I
They
will
had a
stick to
chance,
that.
yeah.
But
If
either way,
Tyler O'Neill
let's go
wanted to
back to where
play.
I'm talking playoff contender because I am fully on board with dealing Contreras. I love him. And you and I talked about this on the phone the other night. It sucks that we may never get to see him in the postseason for the St. Louis Cardinals because that man is fucking electric and I love him. I absolutely, wherever he goes, will be a
And we
fan. We'll
don't
buy
have
a
another
jersey
guy like
wherever he
that.
goes.
We don't
Huh?
have another guy like that either, like this
No,
that
we don't.
energetic.
I'm fine with moving on from Arenado. I'm fine with moving on with. I'd love to see Sonny back because I love Sonny. But if you can make some shrewd moves with those four guys, the return you could get on those four players alone,
Not Nolan. You don't get anything.
you'll get something. But you also get him off
No,
the books. If
you
nothing
don't
else,
get
you're getting
anything.
his. You don't think so?
What would you give up for him?
You don't. Okay, here's what I'll say. Let's say the Dodgers lose tonight. You don't think that the Dodgers would give up something to get him to add into that lineup? Like they're always looking to do. The
No, I
Yankees same way.
don't.
Say the Yankees lose to the Guardians, which I did pick.
Dude,
Like
Arenado in New York would be a disaster.
we agree. That's not my point. My point is I believe there was a team out there that, but Contreras, Sonny, Helsley for sure.
Helsley, you're getting the most, I think. Contreras, he has to almost be a DH for most teams, I think. Unless some team thinks he could be a catcher for them. I don't know what contending team that is. Um, the one I'm curious about is Sonny Gray because ownership wanted to save a few bucks and made his deal incredibly backloaded. So now
Right.
you're trading him at instead of what it would be was 2 years, 50 million. It's like 2 years, 65 is what they're going to be trading him at. That's a lot of money. So I don't know how much teams are going to be willing to give up for a guy that's being paid over market value.
Okay. So maybe my thought process was bad there.
I'd pay it down if that's what it takes.
Right.
Like, why not? What does it hurt you? I paid 10 million over the year.
Yeah.
And then
If
you're
it
getting
gets
and
you
then you're trading
prospects
him at market
back,
value. Yeah,
and
I
like
would
you
100%.
I think what you said earlier also, you add him with maybe another guy in a trade. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and then that might help what you get back also.
Even if it's like you're trading, maybe they move on from Lars Nootbaar. I want it, but maybe they do. Maybe that's how you do it.
Yep.
Decide on who you want in your lineup because they still even without Arenado, even without Contreras, if those guys are gone, they still have guys that aren't playing every day that probably should be.
Yeah, good point. By the way, I think Nick Kurtz will be in the big leagues next year.
He probably will be.
They already got him up to double A, right? Like he already got the call there by like in early mid August. I think that's a guy you see like that team that I think you could see him up there next year. I really do. Like he's a polished hitter. So
Did you see their locker room's going to be in center field in Sacramento? What a
let me ask you
joke.
this. Could MLB have handled this any we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but could they have handled this any worse?
Nope.
I I I agree. I sincerely believe this is the worst way you could have ever. Rob Manfred almost should be fired for this.
He works for the owners. Like it's the other owners that didn't handle it well. And it makes this whole
Well,
sport look bad. Like why is John Fisher's like what the fifth richest owner in baseball or something like
yep,
that? Make him
yep,
sell the team.
yep,
They can do that. They can force people to sell. It's happened before. So
yeah. I mean, we've seen the NBA multiple times.
like I
So
think the NFL is getting really close to making the Panthers owner sell.
even though he is like, is he the number one or he's the number two? I think richest owner because I think
Yeah, he's
don't
one
the
of the top
Waltons
two.
own the Broncos or something?
Yeah, he's one of
Yeah,
them up there, but
he's
like
two, I
it's a
think.
stain on your like it is such a shame. You know what's gonna happen to some team's gonna expand back to Oakland. I guarantee it. When they get
You
expansion
know
teams,
that
they're gonna get another
it
team.
won't happen, but you know the city I would love to see get an MLB franchise is
Utah?
Portland. No, I because I don't know if the weather is conducive for that, unless obviously they would build a dome. So
Either it's
yeah, sure.
Portland.
But well, Portland, I went growing up, went to Portland a lot, went to many Portland Beavers minor league games. They were the Twins affiliate at the time. Saw a lot of guys who came up. But either way, that city, and then if you've watched the obviously the documentary on the Portland team that was there where they went out and played everybody, the kind of vagabond team that was there. I cannot remember the name of the
Yeah.
team right now.
Yeah, I know what you're
But
talking about.
massively support baseball there. To only have one major franchise in that city, to me, I'd love to see them get another one. It won't happen because they'll go where the money is, which will be Nashville.
Which is such a
Charlotte would
joke.
be a
Like
disaster, by the way. Talk to some people from Charlotte. They said we don't support the teams we have. Why would they ever bring Major League Baseball out here? So that seems like a disaster.
it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like they're moving these teams to transplant cities, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Nashville has to be all about the money.
Las
That's a
Vegas
great
doesn't make sense.
no 0 cents.
It's horrible.
Oh,
It's
baseball.
horrible.
They love baseball in Las Vegas, but
They all
that's
have
again
teams.
no. I mean, would you? I'm intrigued to see if they're interested in putting a team back in Montreal too. I've heard that talk about that before. I know
I
what
won't.
happened with the Expos and the owners and everything there was just kind of a
Yeah,
weird situation with the stadium, I think, and everything else. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I would love
I'd be okay
Portland.
with
I
that.
I'd be on board with Utah the way that place is expanding. I'd be on board with Montreal. I don't love the idea of Nashville or Charlotte just because.
I don't love the idea of expanding.
No, I'm talking about this goes south with the A's and they don't end up in Vegas. Like they still have not
Oh,
broke
they're gonna
ground.
go to Vegas. They're gonna go to Vegas. It's just gonna be like 4 years.
What a disaster.
It's so stupid. Like, and also, like, you could have just stayed in Oakland for the next 3 years.
Poor Tommy White.
No, he's not. I feel bad. I feel horrible for the Oakland fans, honestly. Like, it's horrible. They've
Same.
lost. They lost the Raiders. They lost the Warriors to San Francisco. I know it's just across the bridge,
The
but
Bay.
yeah, it's right across the Golden Gate Bridge. But they still like that's a lot of money from the businesses they're losing, and it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Oakland's such a great baseball. Like if I'm a team looking to relocate, that's that's where I'm going is Oakland
Dude, you
because
have
that
a built-in fan base.
boom, they're gonna and they will show out. And you know what? I would go green and gold just to piss off the A's.
Oh yeah, those jerseys are so iconic. I
Yep,
hate
I
it.
agree. Have a Ricky Henderson one. Thinking about buying a Reggie Jackson, the old white one, just kind of like now that they're no longer Oakland, feels like that might be a good call.
Yeah, it sucks so bad. Like when I was
Can we
growing
say
up, they
that you
were
should
one of the best fan bases in baseball.
agree? Can we say it was a disaster the day that you introduced me to DH Gate?
I'm still waiting for my Shahid jersey. I don't know where that thing is.
We just got your mom and I finally got
It's
our
still in
other
China.
Saints. They're coming much quicker, by the way. Like I think we got that one in
Mine's
like 3 weeks.
not.
3 weeks we got ours.
It's been 5 weeks since I ordered mine now.
Have you? If you follow it, it'll tell you
I'm
where
trying, but it's in Chinese. I don't know what it's telling me.
it hasn't been to like sent over here at all. Like it doesn't say in transit.
But actually, I just got an update yesterday that says USPS is waiting for it. So
Okay, so there you go. It's on its way.
yeah,
But either way,
and now I don't
should
even
never
want
have
it
introduced
anymore.
me to that place.
I bought it when I was riding high as a Saints fan, and now I just don't even. I'm going to send it back. I'm sending it back. I'm going to buy a Patrick Mahomes jersey.
Why do we root for the worst teams in sports?
Blues too big come from behind wins the last 2 days.
That is true. I told your mom that I am fully prepared right now. I want to move to Oregon. Like that's where my dream. That's where I want to move is Oregon. That's where I would love to end up. Florida disaster. Probably I can't do with these hurricanes anymore. Love New Orleans, not ready to leave, but when I do, I want to go to Oregon. All right. And I'm going to become the biggest Kraken, Mariners,
No.
Blazers, Seahawks fan, and the Ducks. I'm a whole new start. I want a fresh start in sports.
You just listed teams that never win.
That's fine. That's what I told you yesterday via text. And then when they do win, it's going to be so fucking awesome. By the way, Seahawks do have a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they do. And then they
Should
had
have had
another
two.
one. They had another one. And then imagine watching that as a Seahawks fan and watching them throw the ball on the 1 yard line with the best running back in football at the time.
I mean, hold on. Did that with the Rams when we were beating the Patriots. And instead of handing the ball to maybe the greatest runner of all time, one of Marshall Faulk, we just kept throwing passes for absolutely no reason.
That's not the same thing as being on the goal line and needing a yard to win a Super Bowl and throwing the ball straight to the Patriots defense.
I would like you to get a job covering one of those teams out there. Like, no. So I don't care who it is. What do you mean, no? You're going to turn down a job in Seattle?
It's cold.
Bro, you're
cold.
Take whatever job hires you.
I hadn't been offered a job. Okay,
well,
we're going too long.
Take it. Okay, yeah, we got to get out of here. Either way, moving to Oregon, starting over.
All right, last question before we go.
Hopefully we can be, look, first of all, we apologize for this delay. That's Caleb's fault. Reminder, I just want everyone to know that it was Caleb's fault. We will be back more often. Hopefully, unless we do this one and he doesn't record it. In that case, I will be looking for a new co-host. So just so you know.
Oh, that does happen, need someone that knows how to edit and do everything else.
Need someone who knows how to do everything. I will pay for Zoom. That's all I bring.
No, you won't. You owe me $32. I haven't paid me for 2 months.
I just paid you.
You didn't pay me.
Okay, we're not doing this. Or I will be putting out a thing for a new co-host.
Oh yeah, 3 people will see it with your Twitter following.
Yeah, well, I Twitter. First of all, I can't do that. I tried. That place is a fucking cesspool. I'm sorry.
It's horrible.
I can't get on Twitter anymore. Like I tried, and I really wanted to get involved because I do like a lot of the people on there that I do get to interact with. I can't do it. I tried.
It's just like all just like started to annoy me. I'm getting very burnt out. I don't get.
I either get terrible political opinions in my algorithm, or I get Russian nudes, or I get people that like. Or I get
Elon Musk has really done
I don't even know what they're talking about. Like as I'm saying this, that's what I will. If I hop on Twitter now, I'm gonna have all 3 of those.
If you get on right now, you will see Elon Musk's latest tweet, and you will see some naked people. I guarantee.
Bingo. That's it. That's all I get.
And
Yeah,
then someone
and I get
calling
stuff from
someone
like eight
fat or
days
something.
ago that I comment on, and I realize, oh shit, that was from 8 days ago. Like my comment is now not even close to relevant.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done with it. If yeah, I'm done with it. I'm done.
I just get on to follow journalists. That's
Yeah,
it. All right,
that's a
let's get
good
out of here.
vote.
Oh, wait, last question before we leave.
Yeah,
What would you rank your confidence in the Cardinals organization moving forward from 1 to 10?
5.
Okay. I would say 7.
Okay. I should say 6. I do trust Chaim Bloom more than I trust Mo. I'm not going to lie, I'm still skeptical about ownership. I really am. I think they've kind of like when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And
Mhm.
that's where I'm at right now. And I don't know if there's just been a change in who they are, what has happened, but I am a
Complacency.
little nervous on that.
I think it was complacency, and I think getting a new guy in here is showing that you're no longer being complacent. So I hope that's what we see, is that he
Okay.
returns to who he was, because he was a great owner for like 15 years. Like, there's no doubt about it.
100% agreed. I mean, I went through the 90s. Like I
He
went
brought
through
in Mark
88
McGuire.
to 95. That was a nightmare. And then when the Wits bought the team, they brought in Tony La Russa. A lot of big changes there, right? That was great. I loved the teams that we had then. They were terrible, but I loved a lot of the play. Ray Langford,
He
one of
was
my all-time
also like
favorites.
the starter of owners being caring about analytics. He brought Jeff
Yep.
Luhnow in. So
Yep.
let's hope that Chaim Bloom's Jeff Luhnow part 2 for the organization. That'd be great.
I'm gonna keep it at a 5.5. That's what I'll up it to.
I'm gonna go 7 because I don't want to be lower than that.
No, I agree, but I'm moving to Oregon, so what's the matter? All right, let's get out of here.
Sure. Okay.
All right, everybody. We will
Great. Our
be
podcast
back
is gonna be on
next
the
week
Ducks.
with we'll talk about the NLCS. We'll talk about other things we believe the Cardinals should do potentially in the offseason. We'd love to hear from you. Hit those YouTube comments. We are glad to be back. We will talk to you soon. Go Cards.